Hi fellow artists, my name is Lauren. I'm the artist behind Potato Art Studios, and in today's video we'll be doing a do-it-yourself or DIY adjustable light stand. So if you're interested in seeing how I made my own light stand and saved a couple $100 off of the price of a light stand like the one you see on the screen here, just keep on watching. So there will be timestamps linked down below if you'd like to skip ahead to a certain part. I will also have the complete material list also listed in the description box and have links to where you can find them. The material list includes the following: one roll of drawer liner, one or two clamp plates, a speaker stand, zip ties, and light bulbs. And as an optional thing, you'll probably need an extension cable and maybe glassine sheets. I'm going to list the exact materials I used, so if you'd like to create a exact replica of what I'm going to show you here, you can do so if you want. We all know art supplies are really expensive, and light stands for some reason are one of the most overpriced pieces of furniture I've come across so far. And so I wanted to find a way to make my own light stand. So if you aren't familiar with what a light stand is, it's basically just a tall lamp where you can adjust the angle of a light, one or two lights attached to the stand itself. So to give you a frame of reference, I just looked up in Blick's online website for basically artist lights, and the average price for a light stand retail is about $200 to $300, and that's not including even the light bulbs, so that's just for the stand itself. So these things are very expensive, and I don't know why they are so overpriced because they are very basic pieces of furniture, and I don't believe you should be paying that much money for a light stand. I'm going to show you just the PA speaker stand, and I bought mine from Monoprice. So this is what it looks like when it's collapsed. So on Monoprice's website you can only buy these in packs of 2, and the price of both speaker stands is about $40 without tax. So if you only need to make one light stand for yourself, you can gift one to another artist friend. But I actually used both light stands, so it worked out pretty well for me. So this speaker stand is very, very sturdy. It's also very heavy, or relatively heavy, I think. It's about 8 pounds per stand. And when they were shipped, they were packaged together in the same box. So just letting you know, if you order from Monoprice, the box will weigh about 20 pounds, so it's a little bit heavy. But I'm going to extend the legs out, and then we'll come back and go over the features of this speaker stand. This is the speaker stand with the legs unfolded or extended. So let me show you. So to extend the legs, there is this knob here, so you twist it counterclockwise to loosen, and that will allow you to spread the legs out or collapse them for storage if you don't need to use this stand. A nice thing about this speaker stand is that it's very, very heavy duty, and because the legs are pretty wide, it's fairly stable, so you don't really have to worry about it toppling over. Another good feature is that it is height adjustable, and it has what they call an air cushion. So let me show you. So to adjust the height, you take out this little locking stick, turn the knob clockwise or counterclockwise, and you can extend the original position. I had it here. There's another hole here about 8 inches down, then another hole here. So you'll notice that because it's extended, it doesn't just drop because there's a air cushion, so I have to push it down to lower, and you can hear that sound of the air slowly being released. So if you are adjusting the height of the speaker stand, you don't have to worry about your lamps just crashing down to the ground if you don't have your hand immediately on the stand itself. So I'm going to lock it back in, turn the knob to secure it, and so now if I try to push or pull, the height of the speaker stand is locked in place. I chose to get a shelf liner from Husky, which I found at Home Depot, and I'll have the price on the screen here. So the reason why I needed a shelf liner is because the work lights that I chose to pair with my speaker stand were having a hard time clamping onto the pole without it sliding down. So to fix that, I wrapped the shelf liner around about 1 to 2 times, so it increased the overall diameter of the speaker stand so that when my clamp lights attach, they have, because the shelf liner is a bit grippy, not sticky, but it is a little bit tacky, so when the clamp of the work light clamps onto it, it doesn't fall, so it actually securely holds onto the speaker stand. So to attach the shelf liner, I just use zip ties, so I have one up here and one down here, and depending on how much light you need, you can attach 1 or 2 lights. For me, I use 2 lights, so you can see there's a few marks here where I typically attach a work light up here and a work light down here. So I'm going to attach the work lights and we'll take a look at what the light stand looks like when it's put together. So I just put together the 2 work lights I bought, and so these 2 work lights are also from Home Depot, and you can see that because of the shelf liner here, when I clamp on the work light, it stays. It's not going to move really. It's pretty sturdy, and the nice thing is that these lights are really lightweight, so the speaker stand isn't going to be top heavy and want to topple. It's actually a pretty stable unit. So the reason why I went with these work lights is because they are adjustable in 2 different ways. So this work light, you can adjust the angle by loosening that knob, and you can adjust it in a few fixed positions. So I'm going to tighten that to secure it. And you can also rotate it, so around this part here you can see I can rotate the lamp. So because the speaker stand is adjustable height-wise and the work light is adjustable angle and rotational-wise, you can basically adjust your lights to whatever need you have. The only downside is because this work light has a pretty short cable. You'll see that it's panned down. The cord basically ends almost near where the base is. So you will probably need an extension cord. So I have, when I purchased my speaker stands, I also threw in a few extension cords, and I bought mine from Monoprice as well, and they were about $5 each. So I bought a 6-foot extension cable for each of my work lights. Besides being able to position your work light in different heights and angles, the next most important thing is the light bulb you choose. And so there are a lot of energy efficient options out there, so I chose to go with about 25-watt bulbs, which emit an equivalent to 100 watts of light, and I'll have the specs of the light bulbs I have on the screen here. But daylight bulbs are usually a pretty safe bet. It does take a bit of experimenting to figure out how much light you need and what you're willing to pay for your light bulbs, because they can definitely vary by brand to brand. So I believe I bought mine from Amazon. The only downside about these work lights is that if I turn it sideways, the profile of the bulb is, it sticks out, not quite, but just a little bit. So when I'm working, I don't want to be blinded by the light bulb. So I'm going to show you how I fix that. So because I find the light bulb a little bit distracting, my solution was to just wrap a sheet of glassine over the work light. So I'm careful not to have the paper touch the work light because the light bulb does get quite hot and I don't want to start a fire. So I kind of loosely wrapped the paper over the work light. So if you look from this angle, I think that's a good angle. So you can see that the paper is kind of curved over the work light, but it doesn't contact the light bulb itself. So this paper is semi-transparent, so it does reduce the light output just a little bit, but I don't blind myself when I'm working, and that's the most important part. So I just attached the glassine with a few pieces of artist tape, and if I need to remove it, I can remove it, but this is typically how my lights work. So it's not very attractive, but it does work really well. So an additional thing you can use is Velcro straps to help organize your cables, because this kind of gets messy with your cables just hanging loose like that. So you can use a Velcro strap and basically strap your cables onto your stand and strap another one down the leg so you don't accidentally trip over them and knock your light stand over. So fun fact, I'm actually using my second work light stand to illuminate this video as I was filming. So you can see this is my second stand. So I have my lights on, relatively same position. They do emit quite a lot of light. And so I use two stands when I'm working. If I'm doing a small drawing, about 9 by 12, I only need one. And in that case, I take off the lights, just unclamp them, collapse the base, and I can store this whole thing in my closet, and it takes up almost no space because of how compact it is. But right now I'm working on a larger drawing, which is 18 by 24 inches. So in that case, because my work surface area is much larger, I do need all four work lights, so I need both stands. And so I have been using these lights for well over a year, probably closer to a year and a half, and I am very, very happy with them. It doesn't look the prettiest, I'm gonna say. It doesn't look as elegant as the $200 light stand that you're gonna be finding on art supply websites, but functionality wise it is exactly the same. If anything, I think mine is actually a little bit better because you're able to adjust your work lights with an additional level of mobility, which is the rotation. So you can rotate, you can adjust the angle this way or this way. You can adjust the height with the knob here. And so this is the perfect work light setup for me. And I also recently started working on a H-frame easel. So if you're interested on learning my review of the H-frame easel I recently bought, I'll have it linked up in the cards and down below as well. But because I'm now working on an easel with larger pieces, I find that adjusting this height has been really helpful because I work now standing or sitting. So instead of having to reposition everything, all I need to do is adjust that, adjust the height, tighten, and my lighting is exactly where I want it. So it only takes me less than a minute per light stand to adjust the lighting when I'm working in different positions. So it's really, really helpful. So the most expensive part of the lighting display is going to be the speaker stand itself, and again they come only in pairs. For 2 speaker stands that costs $40. Each work light costs $12. So I did the math and added up everything. So the shelf liner, zip ties, stand, work lights, light bulbs, extension cord. So the total for everything for both stands that I currently own is $126. If you divide that by 2, that is $63 per stand. So I use both stands, and I think that about $60 per stand is a pretty good deal. When I tried looking online, again, the retail price for a stand was about $200, which is very, very pricey for one stand, and that only included one work light. So this isn't the prettiest stand that has ever existed, but it does what it needs to do. I am really happy with what I have. And I will say that I don't think you can fit more than 2 lights because of the width of the work light dome. Having more than 2, you're going to have a hard time adjusting the work lights if you need to adjust the angles. So I think 2 is basically the max you can have, unless you're working on a canvas that is probably 4 feet or bigger. You might be able to use 3 if the speaker stand is at its fully extended height. So this is my work light. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. I know that lighting is one of the most important parts of creating art because normal incandescent lighting is very yellow, so it is important to invest in good light bulbs. If you'd like me to do a quick overview of lighting and light bulbs, I can do that if there's interest. So if you'd like to see a video about light bulb specs, comment down below. But besides that, thank you very much for watching. I will see you in my next video.